My name is Rick Stollmeyer. I'm a Navy veteran. I wore the cloth of our nation to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, and that Constitution has enshrined in it freedom of speech, especially speech that we don't agree with. So I honor the speech here, and I honor the speech across the street. I love all of you. I'm also the founder of MindBody. My co-founders and I started a scrappy little company in my garage 20 years ago, and today it's the largest private employer on the Central Coast. I care deeply about economic opportunity and jobs, and we've got a challenge here on the Central Coast. And that challenge is entirely wrapped up in this topic. The lack of diversity in this community, in addition to being a moral and ethical issue, is also an economic issue for us. I'm a founding member of REACH, the regional coalition of local leaders that are striving for economic opportunity. And I'm a father and a husband. Jill and I have raised 4 kids here in San Luis Obispo. We're committed to this community, and we plan to spend the rest of our lives here. We count among our circle of friends people, frankly, on both sides of the street. We have friends we have a deputy sheriff who's a friend. She was one of the first responders in Napomo when that mentally ill man got out of a car and started shooting people. Those first responders, those CHP and deputy sheriffs saved people's lives last Friday in our community, and we owe them a debt of gratitude. Thank you, you're heroes. So what do we have in common here today? I think we all of us love this community, and we're all worried and afraid for our future. And the events of 2020 have shaken us to our core. Who of us could have imagined on New Year's Eve what was in store for us in this magical new roaring 20s? A pandemic wreaking havoc on our lives, a pandemic tearing apart our economy. And then these horrible killings of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, bringing to surface deep systemic problems in our country. Problems that are really uncomfortable to face, but are realities that have been here for decades and decades. I had, as a middle-aged white dude, I had to come to the realization that the promise of equality of the civil rights movement of my childhood, of Martin Luther King and John Lewis and so many other heroes, isn't done yet. They did amazing things. We've made some progress that is not done yet. And what I see happening today, what I see in this beautiful audience, and what I see with Tiana, as I see young people who are idealistic, who care about our future. And you know what, older folks like me, the future is theirs. This will be their country. This will be their society and their community. Woo! And I think what they stand up for is powerful, it's important, and it's precious that we have young people who are idealistic and care. That's why I'm here. The first time I saw a Black Lives Matter sign was when my daughters, Madison and Elena, 16 and 20 years old, went online on Amazon and ordered one. Okay, the thing shows up on our front door. They plant it in the front yard. And I was like, okay. Black Lives Matter? Yeah. I mean, don't all lives matter? You know? And then I didn't really get it at first. I'm going to admit that to you. And then I began to hear from my own children. I heard from our friends and the MindBody employees. There are 900 MindBody employees in this community. I listened to stories of racism and bias. I mean, firsthand, subtle racism and also much more overt racism. Stories of black people being treated as suspect or different simply because of the color of their skin. Really? In 2020? I was shocked. So when the Black Lives Matter protest started in our community, I was frankly first surprised at the level of intensity. I mean, really? Like, we have that much to be upset about here. I didn't get it. Because I'm not black, and I'm not young. But then I remembered the first rule of parenting, and that is that when your child feels what they feel is their reality. When they skin their knees and they come home and they're sobbing because they hurt or somebody bullied them at school, a parent doesn't tell their child, no, you don't hurt. That's not real. No, we first acknowledge their pain, we tend to their wounds, and we help them heal. And as parents, we listen, we show compassion, we practice empathy, and then we help them address the problem. And so I feel that that's what needs to happen today with all of the young people here. And can we just take a moment? Can we just take a moment? If you live here on the Central Coast, regardless of how you stand on the issue, would you please just raise your hand as a member of this community? So, these are our neighbors. These are our children. Above all, we just need to listen to them. And look, we don't have to agree on everything. Yeah, by the way, how many people have reached out to me since I heard I was going to be here and say, have you seen those video clips? Yeah, I can't say I agree with all of it. I can't say that I think that that was all the best way to go about it, but we're all human beings, you know? And I put my life on the line for this country to give people the right to speak their mind, even when I disagree with them. And the principle at work here is all the right principles. It's the principles of freedom of speech, of equality and diversity. So while I know there are many different points of view represented here today, I believe we can all agree that we have a real problem in our country. I mean, just yesterday, a black man was shot 8 times in the back by police officers while he was attempting to get into the car with his children. We don't know the facts yet. We don't know what happened. But my God, what is going on in this country? Yes, of course, all lives matter. But the focus right now is there is a specific group of people in our country who have had their lives put at risk. And this isn't opinion, this is fact. The numbers support it, it's data. So, Black lives matter, absolutely. Just like all of our lives matter. We're living in troubled times. How do we find our way out of this? How do we make our community, our nation, and our world a better place for our children? I don't know exactly, but I think it has something to do with consciously choosing love over fear. It comes from just practicing the hard work of empathy. It's about putting down these damn devices for a few minutes and actually listening to each other and having real conversations. And it comes from assuming good intent. Let's assume that the other person is actually trying to do something good, as most people in the world are trying to do something good. Let's acknowledge their humanity, and let's especially practice these things when there's issues that we disagree about. I had the honor a couple years ago of meeting Michelle Obama, and she said, "It is hard to hate up close." And I think in these troubled times, we all need to get a bit closer to each other. That is Jill's and my hope and prayer for San Luis Obispo and for our nation. Thank you.